Welcome to Codiarch and my name's Ben. Stick around because this is easier than what you think. If you enjoy learning web tricks like this, please hit the subscribe button and like my video and drop a comment below. Your support keeps these tutorials coming and it's a huge help.
So let's start creating our project. I'm going to create a folder. We're going to call it expanding cards. And now let's open the VS Code. Now, first thing we're going to do is to create our, HTML file, index.html. And let's go for style.css. And let's create a script.js. Now let's create our HTML snippets. And inside, I'm gonna name the title of my project expanding cards. Now what we need here is to bring Roboto fonts. So to achieve that, let's open Google and type Roboto. Now let's click on this get font and we're gonna get embed code. And then you need to copy this link right here. Then you need to paste the link here inside the head tag, inside this. Now let's import our CSS file. So I'm gonna write CSS link, and I'm gonna address my style.css here. So, and let's import our script.js. I'm gonna put it right above this ending body tag. I'm gonna write script, and inside the opening tag, I'm gonna write src, and this is the script.js. Very good. All right, now let's run the project with the live extension. Very well, this is the project. Let's test the project. H1, hello world. Let me check the project. Very good. Now everything works correctly. Now let's dive in. The first thing we need to do, this project is very simple. And with some simple steps, you're going to create the UI of the project. So we're going to create a container at the first step. Container, a div with the class of container. And inside the div with the class of container, you're going to have 5 panels. I'm going to create a div with the class of panel, but the first div is going to have also the class of active, because this is actually the picture that is bigger than the other ones. So the div that has the class of active is going to be the biggest one. And inside this div, we're going to create an h3 and write, for example, explore the world. Right now, I need to bring some images inside this project. So I'm going to open the folder and I'm going to paste this image folder, and you can download these images from everywhere you like. It doesn't matter. I just downloaded them from a free website, free wallpaper website, and all you need is to download 5 images and put them in an image folder inside the folder of images. So now I have 5 images. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 images. Very good. Now I'm gonna write an inline style to this div style, and I'm gonna give it a background image, and let's give it a URL. Inside this URL, we're gonna select the first image as the background. As you can see, the background is added, but it is just as big as the content inside the div. No worries, we're gonna fix that. So this is a panel. Let's create another panel. All we have to do is to copy this one, but you just need to remove the active class for this one. And also image number 1 should be number 2. And let's copy and paste the panel, image number 3. And let's copy and paste image number 4. And the last panel should be image number 5. So now we have 5 panels. And we can simply change the titles. I mean, it doesn't matter, but you can do it. Find your best tour. I don't know. I just want them to have different titles. Amazing journey. Amazing journey in your life. Or the most beautiful view. Your dream tour. I don't know. I mean, the titles do not matter. Now we have our HTML done. Now let's go for the style.css. So the first thing we need to do is to give a default box sizing border box to everything. Now let's go for the body, and the body should have the font family of Roboto. And let's go for display flex. Align items should be center. Justify content should be center. And the height should be 100 view height. And the overflow should be hidden. And margin should be 0. Now this is what you have. Well, let's select the container. And what is a container? The container is actually the div that contains all of these panels. So let's select the container. We say the display should be flex, so you can see that they stand next to each other, and the width should be 90 view width. So there is a space on the right and left side of the container. Now let's go for each panel. Be careful, I'm giving each panel these styles. We say the background size should be auto and 100%. The background position should be center. And the background repeat should be no repeat. The height should be 80 view height. So you can see 20, we say 80 view height because we want them from up and bottom to have a little space. And then we say if you make it 100 view height, it's gonna fill the whole area, but we don't want that. We want it to be 80 view height because we want these white spaces. And then let's go for border radius. We're gonna give them a 50 pixel border radius. And then let's go for the color because I want to give these titles a white color. Let's give them a cursor pointer, so when you hover on them, the cursor changes. And let's go for flex. We're gonna give each one of them a flex of 0.5. And then later we're gonna change them. So if we click on one of them, the flex is gonna change to 5, so the picture gets bigger. And now let's go for margin because we want a space between these divs. 10 pixels. Now you can see there's a space between them. And let's go for the position relative. We need to give the position of relative to this divs because later I want to give the position of absolute to these h3s, so I can change the position of h3s. So the parent div should be relative. And let's give it a transition of flex and 0.7 seconds and ease in. Very good. Now let's go for these H3s. So I'm going to copy the panel H3, and let's say the font size should be 24 pixels. The position should be absolute, and the bottom should be 40 pixels. Left should be 40 pixels, and margin should be 0, and opacity should be 0 as well. Why did I make the opacity 0? Because I don't want them to show when the images are small, because as you can see, they do not look good, and it is a very ugly UI. So I'm gonna make the opacity 0, but as soon as I make the image big, I'm gonna bring these H3s back. Now, another thing I want is that if I make these images big, 5 images for a size like that is gonna be too much. So when the screen is small, we need to make the number of images 3. So this here, we're going to use a media query. So we say media screen and max width, say 580 pixels. If it is like that, the container should have first a width of 100 view height. So these spaces, we remove them. And also we say the panel, let's select the nth of type, and we say the fourth one, and also the panel nth of type, and we say the fifth one, we're gonna display none. We're gonna make them hidden. So when the screen is smaller, we have 3 images, but when it's bigger, we have 5 images. It has a better look when the page shrinks. All right, now for the last step, let's add the active classes, because we want the active classes to make the images bigger. So we say panel.active. If it has the class of active, you're gonna give it a flex of 5. And now, as you can see, the first div has the class of active. I think 2 of them have the class of active. Am I right? Let me refresh. No, 1 of them has the class of active, and as you can see, it actually, the one with the class of active is bigger than the others, which is this one, which is this div. And now another thing we need to do is to give the panel, if there is a class of active, the H3, the opacity of H3 should be 1. Now, as you can see, the H3 is back. Very good. Now, I think we're good to go for the JavaScript code. Let's go for JavaScript. Save. All right, now I think we're good to go for JavaScript code. Now, let's start with selecting all of these panels. As you can see, all of these divs have. Now, as you can see, all of these divs have the class of panel. So if we want to select them all, we need query selector all. So we say const panels is going to be equal to document.query selector all, and you should select all the divs with the class of panel. Now, these panels are all selected. Then we say these panels, and for each one of them, which we name each one of them a panel, you should select each panel, and you should listen for a click. It means the action needs to be fulfilled when I click on one of these images, and then you should, when we click on them, you should console.log clicked. Now let's check the console. First, we need to check if it works. So if I click on this, you can see we have clicked. 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, the number is increasing. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each time I click on one of these images, the event actually activates. So now let's do the job. Let's say the panel should, when we click on this, the panel should have a class list add. So we should add the class of active. Now, when I click on each image, it gets the class of active, but the problem is it gets the class of active, but all of them get the class of active. It means that each div now has the flex of 5, and we don't want that to happen. So we need to, when we click on this one, the class of active should be removed from this one. When we click on this one, the class of active should remove from this one. So now what we need to do is to create a function right above this one, remove active classes, and then we say function remove active classes, and inside remove active classes we're going to call for the panels again, and we say for each panel and select them as the panel, you're gonna panel.classList remove the active class. Let's refresh. Now if I click on each one of them, the last one is the class of active. It's going to be removed from the last one and it's going to be added to the new one. And I can also show you what happens under the hood. Let me open the elements. You have to go to inspect and open these elements, and let's open this body tags and open the container. Now as you can see, let me refresh and open the container. Now the first div has the class of active. Now if I click on the second one, the class of active is going to be removed from the first one and it's going to be added to the second one. And it's going to happen again if I click on the third one. It's going to remove it from this one. It's going to add it to the third one. So now everything works correctly. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked my video, please subscribe and like my video and drop me a comment. Give me a feedback, whether negative or positive. It's gonna give me more energy to create more tutorials with better quality for you guys. Thank you and goodbye.